Coach, when did you know you weren't going to have Brad for the game?
Right at about the 60-minute mark, when we had to report it. He woke up with some residual tightness in the back this morning, and we were hoping it would loosen up by game time, but it did not. So we held him out.
I'm curious, are you guys doing a day-by-day deal with him, or are you maybe giving him some time to get?
Yeah, well, they're working diligently on getting it corrected and getting it right, and it's not going to be perfect. Backs are tricky, so it was unexpected, but we had some tightness, so it was the right call that he did not play, and they got a good plan to try to get him back in action.
Curious with Devin, I mean, obviously 31 and 26 minutes, it looked like he just picked up where he left off. But for you as a coach, what things stuck out to you about his play tonight?
Well, I just think that his leadership on our team is really invaluable. He's leading when he's not in uniform, in film sessions, at practices. He's our most vocal guy, and he's really taken the reins of that this year with this team, and even more so on the floor, as the point guard, running the show. We ask our point guards or primary ball handlers to get us in the action, okay, and I will, put us in action if I want to see it, but I want them knowing their team. And, he really takes control of that, and obviously the shot making and the attention that he draws, bringing two to the ball, his ability to pass the basketball out of it is really exceptional, an underrated part of his game, and he was great tonight.
Kevin's seen a ton of defensive attention, doubles, all kinds of gimmicky defenses without Book. Did it feel like he was able to kind of pick and choose his spots easier tonight?
Absolutely. It's just the Book makes everybody's life easier for all those reasons we just said, and I think Kev did benefit from that tonight. But Kev was locked in too. I think even without Book in there, Kev was going to have that type of night.
Coach, can you talk about, address the fact of playing a full 4 quarters, which has not been the case for several games before, and also I think the team only had 8 turnovers today, which is quite different from several games in the past.
Yeah, and against the number 1 defense in the league, so I was really happy with how we played offensively. We understand that we've had some stretches where we played a really good game but didn't close it, and 48-minute complete game was what was called for. I was on the board, pregame. That's what we needed to do, and it's nice to see our guys put together a full 48 minutes.
And the turnovers, the lack of turnovers.
Yeah, turnovers. I mean, we're just we have to take care of the basketball, and it's a lot of it is just making the right decision. Being in attack mode but under control. And not driving into traffic too much or being sloppy with our passing. And, I think we had 2 turnovers in the first minute and then 1 turnover the whole rest of the half. We ended up with 3 at halftime. And, we understand that that's the one thing that's really holding us back offensively is turning that basketball over, and made some corrections and improvements on that today.
How did you like the execution of the game plan and limiting Edwards tonight?
Yeah, really good. What was his total numbers? 13, 4 for 16. Second night of back-to-back. I think that's always a part of it. But, we made sure we brought the right attention to him, and tried to limit his downhill attacks. And, I credit the guys on the ball, Grayson, J.O., whoever switched on to him, but credit our bigs even more. Our bigs really came up in the pick and rolls and limited a lot of those downhill attacks that he's so good at. Yeah, for the most part, I think they made 5 threes, and I feel like most of them were pretty well contested. I didn't feel like they were getting a ton of open looks at the 3-point line. Like I said, our 5s did a good job of being up at the level with the pick and roll, but not we didn't want to full out trap him and just be complete in 4-on-3 basketball the whole night. So both of those guys, Drew and Nurk, did a good job. Just being up in the pick and rolls.
Coach, what made you start small, considering who you were playing, the size that they had?
Number 1 defense in the league, and just wanted to, obviously they have a lineup with Kat and Rudy that, can be very intimidating and imposing, but, it could also struggle if you put enough shooting out there, and we wanted to try to expose that.
Coach, J.O. has struggled in the past. Back here, Coach. J.O. has struggled in the past in terms of shooting from the 3-point line, but it really looked like tonight he had back-to-back 3-pointers from both sides of the court here. how powerful does that make you guys, knowing that you can leave him out there for defense, and then he can also do this on offense as well?
Yeah, for sure. But it's not just about making shots. Excuse me, with Jo, because we know there's a lot of ways he can be effective even without knocking down a few threes. You know, we want him to take a few threes every game. Low volume, high percentage is what we're asking him to be, and you know he's struggled so far this year to put the ball in the basket from a three, but there's always a reversion to the mean. The law of averages plays out. He's not a 17% three-point shooter, so we're encouraging him to shoot the right ones, shoot them in rhythm with confidence, to continue to stay in the gym, which he does and works on it, and then also get really, really good with his all his other tricks offensively, with the redrives and the flips to the shooters and roll behinds and screens and cuts and all those types of things and crashes. You know, ways that he can be effective offensively as well, and he was terrific on both ends tonight.
Coach, I spoke at the shoot around about if you want to score more fast break points. He said, yeah, but you didn't have any fast break points. You only had 2 tonight.
That's not correct. If you watch tape, our pace was really good. You know, it's just one of those things. Yeah, our pace was great tonight. You know, we were attacking before they were set most of the night. I don't know. we all looked at that and thought that was kind of crazy, but I was happy with our pace tonight.
Thanks, Coach.
Devin, just how did it feel not only to be back, but to look like your win was there, and you were getting the shots that you wanted, and being in the flow with not only yourself but with the other guys?
Yeah, it's always nice just playing. You know, trying to put my inputs in from the bench, you know, gets old after a while, and you know, I just want to get out there and, you know, compete with the team.
Curious, Kevin, what did you think of Devin's performance tonight?
Incredible. I mean, that's what I expect out of him every time he touched the floor. You know, I maybe was expecting a little bit of like wind in his lungs, you know, early on, but he looked great. The pop was there, just playing with pace, and that's what we need. It's good to have our point guard back.
Curious, the only thing I have left for you two is having Brad not be out there, maybe just getting over that and then going out and still playing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough, man. Just like I said, nobody wants to miss any games, especially, you know, when you're the best in the game and you want to prove it every night and something's holding you back. So, you know, he's just trying to get right. You know, he's taking all the steps. He's in there early every day getting his treatment. So, you know, we're going to rally behind him, keep the morale high, and, you know, make sure he's in good spirit until we get him back on the court.
Kevin, you've mentioned having to deal with some gimmicky defenses the last handful of games. Look out there, did it feel like tonight you were able to kind of pick and choose your spots a little bit easier?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, obviously, adding Book puts a little bit more fear into the defense, and then you got to give Minnesota credit. They like to rely on their defenders to guard up. You know, they don't rely on the guys that they pay to defend to ask for double teams. So, you know, I respect guys like that just play hard and play straight up. And tonight I was able to get to the post, get to the mid range as well. So, but adding Book out there just makes everything easier for everybody. And once we get Brad back, it's going to, you know, feel the same way. So, looking forward to finally becoming a whole team.
Kevin, you played with guys that lead scorers, several lead scorers in the past. What's the secret to the mesh and the blend of getting everybody, you know, rolling?
That guys don't try to, you know, minimize themselves just because we got talent on the team. I think guys still got to go out there and showcase their full games, and it just the timing might be different on when you're going to do that or when the other guys are going to do it. But at the same time, you still got to, you know, play your game and not worry about other guys. And coach is going to figure out the best places to put us. And tonight was one of those nights.
Look, right before the half, you had that open three you passed out of, and Kev shot you a look. What was the conversation there?
Yeah, just telling me to be aggressive, kind of playing off what he just said. You know, I was thinking of for sure getting the last shot there, making sure they didn't get another attempt. But, you know, if we have open looks, we got to let it ride. And, you know, I would have said the same thing to him.
Look, you mentioned giving your input from the sideline and kind of being tired of that, and Coach was complimenting your vocalness during the stretch when you've been out and whatnot. That's nothing new for you, but is there any more emphasis you're trying to put on that with Chris gone, or is that factoring into how you're thinking about kind of taking more of that on this year?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely did a lot of that last year or the last 3 years. So, you know, just being voices. But we have multiple leaders on this team that lead in different ways. You know, and I think the term leadership, goes off if you're successful or not. And there's many ways to do it. I've had many different teams and different players, and, you kind of just have to figure out what's most effective to who you're trying to lead. But, credit our team having a lot of experience from the coaching staff down to all the players that, everything's collaborative and we can, talk through situations. And, it's like we've been there before, and, it feels like we've been a team for a long time.
Kevin, you guys had 2 turnovers on the first 3 possessions. After that, didn't have them really the rest of the half. What do you think was the difference with that tonight?
We simplified our attack. We didn't try to make the home run play. We found the open man, tried to go a lot of paint. The great is a long, athletic team, so we wanted to be a little bit more patient in our attack, and I think we did that tonight.
Devin, how important was pace for you within your just picking your spots and switching speeds when you were attacking downhill?
Always, that's going to be the name of the game for, our whole season. We talked about it last playoffs, and we continue to. I think when we play slower, usually that means we're not getting stops. We're taking the ball out the net every time, and, it allows people to throw junk defenses at him and let them set their defense. But, if we get stops and, we call it the kick-ahead action, like get KD, get Brad out in the open floor, they're tough to stop without fouling them or giving up a layup.
The energy that the T-Wolves expended last night against the Warriors, emotionally and physically.
Yeah, we loved that. I was loving it for them.
What were you guys expecting from the T-Wolves tonight before the game started? I mean, what, psychologically speaking, what were you guys expecting from this team that had gone through so much?
That they were going to fight and play hard all the way through. A lot of respect for them. They've been playing really well this year, and sometimes the schedule does that. We just headed out east and played an early game the next day at 1 p.m. to a back-to-back to another early game. So there's always going to be spots like that, and when teams can find a way to come out and win those and still fight through those, that shows the true character of a team.
Book, I saw you grinning when Kevin referred to you as a point guard. Do you view yourself that way in this offense? I mean, what?
No, I'm just a relay man. I catch it and I kick it head down. The relay man. Cut off. Go ahead.
You had that pocket pass to Drew when he skied over with Cat. Have you seen him with that kind of hops before?
Who?
Drew.
Yeah, I mean, where you been watching?
I mean, just
We seen Drew been in the league for a while now, and I've definitely seen a lot of those plays happen from him. And that was an emphasis on coach of finding him in the paint more for lobs. I think we threw him a lob today that he tipped in. He's so athletic on that rim that you want to utilize him in those spots, and especially when teams start to trap the pick and roll like we did. He rolled out early and was able to finish the play. So yeah, I mean, when he palms that ball, it's going to be hard for guys to block that shot, and we've been seeing it for him since he got into the league.
Look, Josh was going through a tough shooting stretch, but he nailed 3 tonight. How much as leaders do you guys emphasize confidence for those guys and letting them know the ball's always going to find them no matter what?
Yeah, I mean, he knows that. He's been around. He understands that. That's going to be team's defense. They even leave strong side corner on them and just mixing in the ability to knock a few down, but, take advantage of playing quick out of that, to come to a dribble handoff to somebody else. We call it the Draymond Green action. And he's a master in that role, so that's what the regular season's for, to, keep finding that and keep building confidence.
How big was it for you to see the bench have such good production last game and then carry over to this game as well?
Yeah, super important. If they can keep, the lead the same or extend that, that's always a plus. So, those guys, we have a lot of talented guys on this team that, are fighting for minutes, fighting for playing time. So, it's good to see that.
But did you feel any effects from the layoff being off for these last 2 weeks?
A little bit.
In what way?
Yeah, last 3 weeks feels right.
In what way?
Oh, just getting my wind right.
yeah,
Last one?
I saw your tweet from, I think it was Friday. It was like, when your friends are going to compete harder against each other. Post, I guess we call it. Post now. But in this third quarter, it seemed like you and Kat were trading off, buckets a lot. So when you have that history with him at Kentucky and you guys are friends now, does that resonate with you and you guys are going harder against each other?
I do it every night. I have smoke with a lot. That's every night.
The whole league.
Yeah, everybody.
Thanks, guys.